Alright guys, so homework for tonight, page 167, 168. Let's get started. So you should be reading this example problem first and then start answering the question. Question number 1 says, substitute the value of y in the example into the second equation, y plus 2x equals 3. What value do you get for y? Is it the same solution as in the example problem? Okay, so the solution that we got for x, the value for x here is 2. So I'm plugging the value for x here into x here. So I have y equals, y plus 2 equals 3. Parentheses first, 2 times 2 is 4. Y plus 4 equals 3. I'm solving for y, so I need to get rid of this positive 4 by subtracting 4. So I get y equals 3 minus 4, which is negative 1. So my y is negative 1. It says, if that's the same as the solution, yes. What is the value you get for y? Negative 1. Is it the same as this example problem? Yes. So you tell them you get negative 1. Is it the same? Yes. And that's it for number 1. Number 2 says the solution in the example is 2, negative 1. That's cool. Explain what the graph of the systems looks like. Okay, so we can actually graph this, but we don't really need to graph it to explain it. Remember, a way that we can determine the solution for an equation is by making sure that both of them are in slope-intercept form. The second one, y plus 2x equals 3, is not in slope-intercept form, but I can get it there just by getting that y alone. The only thing I have on this left side with this y is this 2x, and it's a positive 2x, so I need to subtract by 2x. So I get y equals negative 2x plus 3. So y equals negative 2x plus 3. Different slope, because this is a 1. 1 and negative 2 are different. Different y-intercept, because this is a negative 3 and this is a positive 3. Different one solution. Okay? So, because it is a one solution, we know that the two lines are going to intersect. And where they intersect at is the solution, which is 2, negative 1. So, explain what the graph of the system looks like. It's going to be two lines that intersect, and where they intersect at is going to be 2, negative 1. So that's what you tell them for number 2. Alright, number 3 says, look at the system of equations below. Describe how you can use substitution to find a solution, then find the solution. So from class today, you know that the first thing we do when we're trying to use substitution is look at both of your equations and see which one of them is in a slope-intercept form. So when I'm looking at these equations, I have y equals x minus 4 is in slope-intercept form. So the second thing you're supposed to do is take the value of y and plug it into the other y in the other equation. So my value for y right here is x minus 4. I'm going to plug that x minus 4 in for y right here. Okay? The third thing we do is we rewrite the equation. I'm going to rewrite this equation with x minus 4, and then I'm going to solve for x. So instead of writing y now, I'm writing x minus 4 minus 3x equals 4. Okay? So I'm going to combine like terms because I see the x and the minus 3x. They're on the same side of the equation. When they're on the same side of the equation, you're combining. If they're on opposite side of the equal sign, you're getting rid of one of them. So x minus 3x is like saying 1 minus 3, which is negative 2. So I have negative 2x. I'm going to bring down my minus 4 equals 4. Okay? So when you're solving for x here, there's this negative 4 and there's this negative 2. You want to get rid of the coefficient last. And from what we learned today, the coefficient is the number by the variable. So I'm going to get rid of that last, so I need to get rid of this negative 4 first. I need to add 4 to both sides.
Yeah, I remember this.
So I have negative 2x equals, that cancels out, 4 plus 4 is 8. Now I can get rid of the coefficient by dividing by negative 2. So I get x equals 8 divided by -2, which is -4. All right, so when we get here, we're almost done. The last step, it says, plug in your value of x into one of your equations and solve for y. Okay? So one of my equations is y equals x minus 4. I'm going to plug in my value of x, which is -4. So it'll be y equals, instead of x, I'm plugging in -4 minus 4. When you're subtracting negative numbers like this, I like to use keep, flip, change. So I'm going to keep, flip, change. So that becomes a -4 also. So it's -4 plus -4, which is -8. So my y is -8. So x is -4, y is -8. So my solution is -4, -8. Okay, it says describe how you can use substitution to find a solution. That's what we did here. What is the solution? That's what this is. All right. Make sure you remember those 4 steps. Question number 4. Use substitution to solve the system of equations. So we're doing the same thing. I'm checking to see if one of these equations are in the form of y equals mx plus b. I see that my second equation is in the form of y equals mx plus b. So that I'm taking the value of that y equals, the value of that y is 1.5x plus 1. And I'm plugging it in to the y right here. Okay? So I'm going to rewrite that equation and plug in this for that y. So it becomes 1.5x plus 1 plus x equals 3. Okay? Now I need to combine like terms. Since both of these x's are the same side of the equal sign, which is the left side, I need to combine them. So that's saying 1.5x plus x is like saying 1.5x plus 1x. And 1.5 plus 1 is 2.5. So I have 2.5x. I'm going to bring down my plus 1 equals 3. Now, it's like we did before. Remember, we want to get rid of the coefficient last. So I'm going to get rid of this plus 1 first. Since it's a plus 1, I'm subtracting by 1. And whatever I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other side. So I have 2.5x. This is canceled out. 3 minus 1 is 2. I'm almost there. Now I can get rid of that coefficient by dividing by 2.5. Divide by 2.5. So I get x equals 2 divided by 2.5, which is 1 over... Can you grab that calculator?
If it was 2, it would be 1, so it's like 1 over...
It's right there. Do it for me. Do 2 divided by 2.5.
2... How to turn this thing on? 19 years. Oh, here. 2 divided by 2.5 equals 0.8.
0.8. So x is 0.8, and that's as a fraction is 8 over 10. So we're not done yet. We have a value for x, but we need a value for y. To get the value for y, I need to plug in x into one of my equations. I'm going to use this one. So and it now becomes y equals 1.5 times 0.8 plus 1. What is 1.5 times 0.8? 1.2, and what is 1.2 plus 1? That should be 2.2. So my y is 2.2, my x is 0.8, my y is 2.2. So that is the solution to the system of equation, and we use substitution for it. So if they ask you what's the solution, you tell them this. If they ask you to show your work, this is our work. All right? Question number 5. Says the system of equation at the right shows x by itself on the left side, okay?
Pause for a second. Is this for you or for him?
For my kids.
Okay.
Solve the system by substituting for x instead of y. So there's nothing, we're not really doing anything different. The only difference is the 4 steps that I gave you, instead of saying y, I'm using x. So I said, plug in the value of y into the other equation. So this time I'm plugging the value of x into x in the other equation. Okay, so the steps are still the same. I'm just using the value of x instead of the value of y. Okay? So when I rewrite this equation, it's going to become 0.5. When you have more than one number like this, make sure you use parentheses. So I'm going to do 0.5 negative y minus 2, because this is replacing that x. Now I'm going to bring everything else down, plus y equals 1. When I get to this stage with parentheses, I'm using a distributive property, which says I'm multiplying 0.5 times negative y, and then 0.5 times negative 2. So 0.5 times negative y is negative 0.5 y. And 0.5 is half. So what is half of negative 2? That will be negative 1 plus y equals 1. I am almost there. I can combine like terms, this negative 0.5 and this y. This is like saying negative 0.5 and 1y. So negative 0.5 plus 1y is like saying 1 minus 0.5, which is like saying what is half of 1? Half of 1 is half. So it's 0.5.
That's when you're gonna get lost at right there.
Okay? So 1 minus 0.5 is 0.5. It's like $1 as a whole, and then you have 50 cents. What is, if you had $1 and somebody took away 50 cents from you, you have 50 cents left, right? So we have 50 cents left. So we have 0.5y minus 1 equals 1. Okay? I'm going to erase up here. I'm going to bring this up here so I have some more space. Is 0.5y minus 1 equals 1. We're almost there. I'm solving for this y. Remember, we want to do the coefficient last. So I'm going to get rid of that negative 1 first by adding 1. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other side. This cancels out. 1 plus 1 is 2. Now I'm dividing by 0.5. So y equals 2 divided by 50 cents. Should give me $4. But can you check it for me? 2 divided by 0.5. $4. So y equals 4.
$4?
So we have our y value, but we still need our x value. So we're doing the same thing we were doing before. I'm going to plug my y into one of these equations. I'm going to plug into the second equation right here. Nope, let me do the first one, since it already says x equals negative y minus 2. Because I'm looking for x. So x equals negative y. Ooh. Okay, so you need your parentheses right here. Negative y, y is 4, minus 2. Okay, so keep, flip, change. So I have negative 4 plus negative 2, which is negative 6. So x is negative 6. You still gotta write x first. Y is 4. So my solution to this system of equation is negative 6, 4. That was long. All right. I think we have one more. Last question. Fina, what kind of name is Fina? Fina wants to use substitution to solve the system of equation at the right. Explain what she needs to do first before using substitution, then solve the system of equations. Wow, they want us to do a lot of work. Alright, so the first thing she needs to do, because none of these equations are in the form of y equals mx plus b, the first thing she needs to do, almost done. You still want to go and read? Or you gotta do something?
I gotta pick my little brother up, so I don't know yet. I'll let y'all know for sure.
Okay.
Well, if I'm gonna go get this car now, if I wanna pay $500 worth of insurance.
They're still trying to get you to do it?
It's on video. I wasn't here.
Alright. So I gotta get one of these equations in the form of y equals mx plus b. I'm going to use this first one. I need to get this y alone. So I'm going to subtract by 2x, subtract by 2x. So I got negative y equals negative 2x plus 3. I need y, not negative y. So I'm going to divide by negative 1 because this is a negative 1y. So I get y equals negative 2 divided by negative 1 is positive 2. 3 divided by negative 1 is negative 3. So now I have my equation in the form of y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to take the value of y. I'm going to plug it into my second equation. Plug into the y in my second equation. So now I have negative 1.5x plus 3, 2x minus 3 equals negative 18. I have parentheses, so I need to do my distributive property. 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9 equals negative 18. I need to combine like terms right here. This negative 1.5x plus 6x is like saying 6 minus 1.5, which should be 4.5. Minus 9 equals negative 18. I'm going to add 9 to both sides because I'm getting rid of that coefficient last. So I have 4.5x, that cancels out, equals negative 18 plus 9 will be negative 9. And then I'm going to divide by 4.5. 4.5 times 2 should be 9, if I'm correct, yes. So x equals negative 2. I have my x, but I don't have my y. So I'm going to plug in the value of this x into one of my equations. I'm going to plug it into this equation. Okay? I have some space up here. So that equation now becomes y equals 2, negative 2, minus 3. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4 minus 3. Y equals, keep, flip, change, negative 7. My x is negative 2. My y is negative 7. So this is the solution. Ooh, that was long. Alright, that's it. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.